Boom. So before I joined the Navy, like most people, I had all sorts of different jobs. I mean, I had my young age jobs, cleaning yards, paper routes, things like that. Worked at a couple of restaurants. The year before I joined the Navy, I got a job in a restaurant. I wanted a place I could train and work out. And so I picked a good spot, got a job at a restaurant. And I worked with a guy that was a bartender. He kind of tended bar at this kind of nicer restaurant. We got to know each other. And he was just one of those old sages that had picked up a ton of that kind of bartender banter and life lessons and skills that I picked up on very quickly. Whenever I found someone like that, I think, knew to connect to mentors before I knew to connect to mentors. And this was one of those guys. He was just magic. One, he was great at his job. I mean, bar immaculate, service off the charts, always creating great conversations and experiences for people. I wasn't a bartender. I'm not even a drinker, but I'd be out working the tables. And he taught me a ton about that. He said, it's really about the client. It's making their experience great. And he's like, but there's nuances to it. For instance, if you take your time and let them stay too long, you don't turn tables and you make less money. He's like, so pretty much when I was serving or waiting tables, if I could clear a plate almost when they're on their last bite and get that out of there, I could move them on. He's like, hey, until your last table, no desserts. Tell them to go down the street, get a good dessert down there. You'll stack 3 more tables than anybody else, make more money. Last table, you push the desserts and things like that. So he always had this great guidance and wisdom, but his real strength was behind the bar, making drinks and doing that job. He had worked, from what I heard, at a real kind of famous DC sort of power broker bar. So he knew his craft. He knew it well, always dressed the part. Like I said, amazing service. I remember one night, it was very, very quiet. This was in a resorty area, so people were coming in and had money to spend. And that brings in a certain type of clientele. Some of those people with money, you're working with some different attitudes. And a young group of seemingly wealthy, kind of kids, so to speak, adults enough that they were on their own trip, but young, came into the bar. And all 3 of them, I just happened to be sitting in then because I was cleaning tables. All 3 of them asked for very specific drinks and kind of well-known drinks. As my mentor starts making the drinks, he would always pour drinks from, that thimble, I think they call it a jigger, to actually measure the alcohol to go into the drink. And he's doing that. He's pouring that in the drinks. And one of these young guys says, kind of snarkily, oh man, you'd think, are you new at this job? He knew he wasn't, but he's like, no, I've actually been doing it for quite a while. It's a career. And the young guy says, I would think you'd know how to pour it accurately without measuring. And he said, well, I measure for 2 reasons. One, to get a drink, like you ordered a Tom Collins, your buddy ordered a Long Island iced tea, and somebody else ordered a martini, whatever it was. To get a drink to last the test of time is magic. It's very hard. There's only so many drinks that have stood the test of time, decades, if not longer, that people know. The person that created that drink did so in exacting measurements. That's what made it great, made it taste the way it tasted, and the experience what it was. And I like to pay honor to the person that created that drink. That's part 1. Part 2 is, I have been doing this long enough. Of course, I could measure it and you wouldn't know the difference, but it wouldn't be perfect. The drink in front of you is perfect. I love this exchange. I mean, it kind of shut down the somewhat snarky clientele, but that idea of precision and perfection, and actually being at a point where you could do it by cutting corners, but doing it perfectly, just stuck with me. Do it perfect.